Assalamu alaikum. Today the topic I am going to discuss with you all is the plant cell. So here is the list of content that today I am going to discuss. First one is the distinguishing features of plant, how plant cell is different from other cells, parts of plant and its function. There are different parts of plant like cell wall, plasma membrane, nucleus, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi Apparatus, mitochondria, chloroplast, vacuole, cytoskeleton and plasmodesmata. So before starting, we should know that exactly what is plant cell. Plant cell is the basic unit, or we can say that the smallest unit of all plants. A plant cell is any kind of cell that comes from an organism belonging to kingdom Plantae. Kingdom Plantae is one of the kingdom from five kingdom classification. Here is a common plant cell that you can see that a cell wall is present around and there are many organelles present within the plant cell. There are different distinguishing features of plant cell which make them different from other cells. The first one is that plant cell wall is made up of cellulose, while other cells have cell wall made up of different material. Like in fungi, cell wall is made up of chitin. Plant cell has plastid which have chlorophyll which is responsible for photosynthesis. Plant cells have large vacuole which provide turgidity and support to soft herbaceous plant. In plant cells, centrioles are absent, while in animal cells, centrioles are present. Plant cells have plasmodesmata, which are small cytoplasmic connection between adjacent plant cells. So now I am going to discuss different parts of plant and its functions. So the first part of plant is the cell wall. Cell wall is the most outermost layer of plant cell. Cell wall is rigid, strong. Cell wall is semi-permeable because it allows particular molecule or specific molecules to pass through them. Cell wall is protective layer, provide protection. Cell wall composed of strong fibers of the carbohydrate polymer called cellulose, which is a polysaccharide. Cell wall is made up of multi-layered and it consists of three sections. The first one is middle lamella, which is present between adjacent cells, primary layer and secondary layer. Cell wall have different function. The first one is cell wall provides support to the plant cell. Cell wall withstand with turgor pressure. Cell wall regulate growth. Cell wall regulate diffusion through small pores present in the plant cell. Cell wall communicate through plasmodesmata. Cell wall provide protection against many pathogens or viruses or diseases. Cell wall act as a storage material because its storage store carbohydrates. The next part of plant cell is plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is composed of phospholipid bilayer and protein. The phospholipid set of bilayer structure with a bilayer of phospholipid in which proteins are embedded. Phospholipid have hydrophilic heads. Hydrophilic means that it is water loving, and hydrophobic fatty acid tails which remain inside. Plasma membrane have different proteins. The first protein is integral protein. Integral protein is embedded in the lipid bilayer, and integral proteins serve as ion pump. It pumps different ions across the membrane against their concentration gradient. There may be different ions like sodium, potassium. The next protein is peripheral protein, which is bound to membrane by ionic bonds. And these peripheral proteins interact with the component of cytoskeleton and help in transport of different material, help in cell signaling, and help in maintaining the cell shape. Anchor protein are bound to the surface via lipid molecules. So the next part of plant cell, or very important part of plant cell, is the nucleus. Nucleus is double membrane bound organelle, and nucleus is surrounded by nuclear envelope which have nuclear pores. These nuclear pores allow the passage of macromolecules and ribosome subunits in and out of the cell. Here you can see in the diagram, nucleus have thread-like material which is also called chromatin, and these chromatin condenses into chromosome during meiosis. Cell wall also have one or more nuclei. These nuclei are present into the fluid called nucleoplasm. Cell wall plants nucleus contain all the genetic material called nuclear genome in the chromosomes. Endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum is connected to nuclear envelope, and it is a 3D network of continuous tubule that coats around the or goes throughout the cytoplasm. There are two types of endoplasmic reticulum. The first type is the rough ER and the second type is the smooth ER. The rough endoplasmic reticulum are responsible for protein synthesis because there are many ribosomes present on the endoplasmic rough ER, and the smooth ER responsible for lipid synthesis. So, the next organelle of plant cell is the Golgi apparatus, a stack of tightly flattened cisternae. Golgi apparatus have many cisternae which are stacked upon one on each other. The proteins or lipids which are made in the ER are contained in the transport vesicle which fuse with the Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus modifies these protein and lipids and sorts them or packs them into transport vesicles, and these transport vesicle buds off and move to the cytoplasm. Now you can see in the diagram a transport vesicle come and fuse with the Golgi apparatus, and all the modification happen, and it is packed into transport vesicle and form a secretory vesicle. These transport vesicle may fuse with the plasma membrane. The next important part of plant cell is the mitochondria. Mitochondria is also a double membrane organelle found only in the eukaryotic cells. Outer layer is smooth while inner layer have many folds called cristae. Mitochondria is a site of cellular respiration, and mitochondria is also called the powerhouse of cell because all the chemical energy is produced in the mitochondria in the form of ATP, also called adenosine triphosphate. The next important part of plant cell is the chloroplast. It is also a double membrane organelle found only in the eukaryote. Membrane of chloroplast contain chlorophyll, which are site of photosynthesis. It have inner and outer membranes and a third membrane system called thylakoids. Stack of thylakoids are called crenum, which are surrounded by a fluid called stroma. There are different reactions take place in the chloroplast. During photosynthesis, the ATP from stroma provide the energy for the production of sugar molecules or glucose, which form starch. The next important part of plant is the vacuole. Vacuole can be 80 to 90% of the plant cell, or we can say that it is the largest organelle of plant cell. It contains a membrane called tonoplast. It contains many things like water, inorganic ions, organic acids, sugar enzymes, and secondary metabolites. The inner part of the vacuole is called cell sap. Vacuole is responsible for the cell wall enlargement by creating turgor pressure. The turgor pressure generated by vacuoles is responsible for providing rigidity or turgidity to the herbaceous or soft plant, which keeps them in upright position. The next important part of plant cell is the ribosomes. A ribosome is a cellular particle. It is present in both animal and plant cell. Um, Ribosomes are made up of RNA and protein, and it is a site of protein synthesis in the cell. There are two subunits of ribosomes. The first one is larger subunit and the second is smaller subunit. The ribosomes reach the sequence of messenger RNA, and using the genetic code translate the sequence which is present in the messenger RNA into the sequence of amino acids for protein synthesis. The next important part of plant is the cytoskeleton. There are three main components of the cytoskeleton: microtubules, Microfilaments and intermediate filament. Cytoskeleton is responsible for maintaining the shape, cell signaling, and cell transport. All these elements can be assembled and disassembled during the meiosis and involved in plant cell division. The plasmodesmata are small cytoplasmic connection between adjacent plant cells. Um, each plant cell has a tube called a desmotubule, which is a part of each endoplasmic reticulum present in each plant cell. Um, um, Plasmodesmata provide chemical communication and transport material throughout the whole cell. So we can say that plant cell have many organelles, and each organelle is responsible for a specific function and playing a important role in plant cell. And plant cell is different from other cells, and these are some references from where I prepared my presentation. Thank you.